Hey guys, I'm back to do another story time video with you guys. Now this video is going to be about my labor and delivery story of my oldest daughter and how Jesus delivered my baby. You guys will understand what I'm talking about when I say Jesus delivered my baby. He delivered my baby in two ways, so I will actually explain that to you. So if you haven't watched my previous video of how I found out I was pregnant, you guys can check that out right here. I'm going to put a little link here, or you guys can check out my previous video. But anyway, please subscribe, comment down below, and yeah, let me see if you guys have any similar labor and delivery stories like me. If you guys do, please comment, let me know. And so yeah, my daughter is almost 11. Her name is Jada. And it's so amazing how time just flies. But yeah, I ended up having my daughter in July, and I remember I found out I was pregnant at 7 months or 7.5 months, something around there. So yeah, I remember it was 4th of July, and that was the first time I ever felt my daughter kick me in my stomach as her being a baby. The last month of my pregnancy, that's when I actually started to show a little bit, but I still didn't have a big belly at all. You couldn't see anything up until 4th of July. I remember my stomach got really big, and so yeah, she kicked me when the fireworks were going off. That was the first time I ever felt her, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's kicking me, because I went to Columbus with all of my cousins and my sister to see the big fireworks in Columbus, and I was so excited and everything. On this particular day was so weird because I just remember I always slept a lot and stuff, but when I woke up that morning, I was told by my mom and my stepdad that I actually woke up and cooked a full meal. Now when I was 16, I did not cook at all. I never cooked. I only cooked chicken wings or something little, something that everybody can cook, like spaghetti or sloppy joe or something. But I woke up and cooked an entire breakfast just for myself, because my sister, my little sister, she left and went to work that day. And then my mom and my stepdad ended up leaving, and they went to, they were gone most of the day. I think my mom was at work during the day. I think he was at work, my stepdad, and I was home alone. And I just remember when he left to go to work, I ended up cooking a full breakfast. So I think he called my mom, and he was like, hey, Desi cooked a full meal, like a breakfast meal. And I guess he told my mom, yeah, she's in labor. I didn't know what labor was. I remember watching little videos or TV series or whatever on TV about people being labor, but they didn't come out with the show Sweet 16 yet. So I had no idea what actual labor was. I remember going to, I don't think I went to Lamaze class. I didn't even have time to go to childbirthing classes or anything. I do remember though going to a couple classes, but I never got a chance to actually finish because I ended up having my daughter super early, and most of those classes are 5-week classes or something, but I only got to go to 2 of them because I ended up having my daughter. So but anyway, so that day was a Wednesday because my stepdad and my mom ended up going to Bible study. And so during the whole day, I remember just cooking a full meal, eating it. I think I ended up cooking grits, eggs, bacon, sausage. I think I had toast or either pancakes, one of the two. But I cooked an entire meal just for myself. So I don't know what was going on, but I just really didn't cook like that. I let my sister cook, or my mom or my stepdad cook, because they were the cookers. So I really didn't have to cook. So I would let them do it. But my sister was at work, and I remember when she came home from work, It was just me and her there, and I just remember being uncomfortable, so I was like moving my stomach and like wiggling and like just whatever. So I remember she came home around 4:30 that evening, and I think most of the contractions started around maybe 3, but they were just like, okay, whatever, let me just turn. Okay, this isn't working, let me turn the other way. So I'm like, okay, well, my stomach hurts. So then I told my sister when she got home, and me and my sister walked around the corner. And I remember my sister ended up opening the door. This was like maybe 5:36 by the time. She ended up opening the door, and it was 2 white guys standing at the door. They had black suits on. I had no idea who they were. They ended up giving her a Bible, but it was like a Mormon Bible or something like that. And I just remember telling her, like, my stomach is like really hurting, I don't know what's going on. So me and her ended up walking around the block, which is weird because we normally would usually just walk up and down the street to my other aunt's house if we would go walking somewhere. So we walked around the corner, and I called my mom a couple of times, but she was doing hair, so she couldn't answer. And then I remember calling her at like 7 and telling her, like, leaving a voicemail, like, I don't know what's going on, but my stomach's really hurting. Like, it's hurting. So I remember laying down, but I couldn't lay down, so I had my sister call my dad. My dad was at work, so he couldn't answer. Called my stepmom. She was at work, so she couldn't answer. Calling everybody. So I was calling my ex to tell him, well, at the time he's my boyfriend, but I was calling him to tell him, like, something is going on. Like, I don't know what's going on. So he was on his way to my mom's house. So this time it's like 7:45, 8 o'clock. So they're like coming. They're like, just keep coming and keep coming, keep coming. So I knew that my ex's mom was at home. And at the time I called her my mom. So I ended up calling her, or having my sister call, because I couldn't call, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even sit down without me jumping up or like moving around. Like, it was killing me. I didn't think to take a shower or anything. It was just so excruciating, like pain just kept coming, kept coming, kept coming. So she ended up calling her. She answered the phone, and she was like, oh my God, I'm on my way. Because Deidre told her, which is my sister, she told her, like, this is happening to her. She can't sit down, she can't stand up, she can't walk, she can't do anything. So she rushes over to my house. And by the time, at the time, she lived about 15 minutes away from me. So at that time, she got there, and she got there probably like 8:15, 8:20, something like that. She got there, and she puts me on my bed, and she like makes me lay on my back. She like puts her hand on my stomach, and she's pressing, just pressing. And she's like, oh my God, your stomach dropped, like the baby dropped. We need to take you to the hospital now. Because she said it was like a gap, like between my stomach, the top of my stomach, like this much. And Jada had dropped all the way down already. And she's like, oh my God, you're gonna have this baby, we need to go. So I already had my bag packed. Because Jada was 2 weeks early, so she wasn't that early, but she was early. She was 2 weeks early, but I had my bag already packed because they were telling me that she can come anywhere between that time. It just happened. But yeah, I had my bags packed for the hospital. I did bring an extra covers. I know the hospitals are cold. But yeah, we got to the hospital. My sister is in the back seat, and I'm in the front seat. I made Tracy pull over. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, pull over, pull over. I have to throw up. So she had like a little car, and I didn't even make it to, I thought I opened the door, and I couldn't open the door because it was hurting so bad. And I ended up throwing up just like everywhere, like all over the car and everything. And I ate SpaghettiOs for lunch that day. After I cooked that huge breakfast, I ate like SpaghettiOs. So I just remember, oh my God, when I threw up, it was like SpaghettiOs everywhere, like all over the car, over the seat, all over the back seat, on my sister, on my mom, like, ah! So I'm like screaming and crying like, oh my God, I threw up, because I can't stand throw up. And she's like, I threw up, oh my God. So we get to the hospital and she's like running every light, like you about to have this baby in a car, like type stuff. So we get to the hospital and we get in there, and like they put me, when we pull up to the emergency exit, or yeah, emergency room, they put me in like in a wheelchair. And I told the nurse that they were like rolling me down the hall and stuff. I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee really, really bad. So for some reason, she lets me get up and she lets me go to the restroom. So when I get in the restroom, I'm thinking I have to pee and poop, because that's just what it felt like I had to poop or something. So like when I'm sitting there, I'm like screaming like, oh my God, like why is this poop hurting my butt or something, like what's going on? Didn't know that my daughter's head was like right there crowning. I didn't know that. I just knew it was hurting, and I'm like, what the hell, get this out of me. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm sitting there and I'm screaming, and I just didn't realize it was a button in the stall because my stall was locked. So I'm sitting there on the toilet. I can't move. I can't like get up. I can't do anything. And I remember this lady was in the stall next to me with her son. Her son had to be like 2 or 3, maybe 4, but he was like, Mommy, why is this lady screaming next to us? What's wrong? What's wrong with the lady? So at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, please help me. I think I'm having a baby in the toilet or something, because it's really hurting. So she has a little boy in the stall, so he can't see me. And she runs out and she calls the nurse like, get this girl, because she's like screaming in pain and she's gonna have the baby in the toilet. Because the lady, when she came and opened the door for me, she's like, oh my God, your daughter's head is, or the baby's head is right there. So I'm like, oh my God, like the baby's head is there. So I'm like freaking out, like I don't know what is going on. I don't know what is going on, but it's hurting, it's killing me. So me and my sister and my mother-in-law is like going up the little hallway thing, and they're taking us to the room that I'm gonna deliver the baby in, because I have no choice. She's like right there, and they telling me like, you have to suck it in, you have to keep sucking, because if you push, she's gonna come out in the hallway. So I just kept sucking it in, and I'm like, oh my God, where's my mom? My mom's not answering, and I'm like pissed off because she's not answering. So I'm mad, and I'm scared, and I'm just all this stuff. So I remember my sister, when we got into the delivery room, they doing all this stuff. They didn't even have enough time to like do the IV. They did the IV super quick. They did everything like in a split second, because my daughter was like crowning and coming out. When the actual doctor I was gonna deliver my baby came in, me and my sister both stopped. It was like a weird like ambiance in the room. We both stopped, because we were like, my sister was freaking out too. Like, I don't know what's going on. My sister's crying and all this stuff. I was like terrified. Of course, 16, you don't know what the heck to expect. And I've never seen anybody be born before, so I'm just like, what is going on? Oh my gosh. So when the doctor came in, he had this long hair. He was Caucasian. He was really he's really cute actually. But he had these really pretty blue eyes and this really pretty smile, and he had like the goatee with the beard. I'm telling y'all, he looked just like Jesus. Seriously, like how the pictures are of Jesus, that's what he looked like. So when he came in, and I'm a very religious person, like I'm very spiritual and everything. When he came in, I just remember just laying there, and I'm just like, it was like all the pain just randomly left or something for like a split second. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and I sit up, and I'm trying to sit up, but I can't really, so I'm going like this, and I'm like, what's your name? And so he tells me his doctor, whatever his name was, and I'm like, no, that can't be your name. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, are you sure you're not Jesus? So, so me and my sister like busted out laughing like, oh my God, Jesus is delivering my baby. I'm like, thank God that Jesus is in here because I am terrified. I'm about to have a baby and I'm scared. My mom's not answering. She's not here. And I'm like, as much as me and my mom used to argue when I was younger as a teenager, I wanted her to be there so bad. Like, you guys just don't understand. I wanted my mom to be there because I don't know what the hell was going on. I just needed her to be there. But since I had my mother-in-law there, I was okay a little bit, and my sister was there. So I held my mother-in-law's hand. I'm like, oh my God, like it's killing me. So I have my mother-in-law's hand on this side, and I'm like grabbing for dear life, like she has like rings. She always had rings on her finger, and I'm like grabbing her hand like this, and I'm like like just grabbing her hand. And I remember after I had my baby, she's light skinned, so after I had my baby, she had like these red rings around her fingers. Oh my God, you would have thought she was gonna kill me. That's how hard I like squeezed her hand. I ended up having my daughter finally. I just remember asking the doctor to pray for my daughter because my mom wasn't there yet. So the doctor actually was a Christian, and he actually leaned over and prayed for my daughter before my parents actually got there. Because I remember Tracy left a note on the door and said, we're at the hospital, she's having the baby. So whenever they got there, I think they got there right after they left Bible study, when they came home and found a note. But yeah, so that's how it happened. But and the reason why I said earlier in the video that he delivered my baby twice is because, of course, physically he looks just like Jesus, and I can't remember his name. But it was actually a couple months ago that I went to take my youngest daughter to the doctor, and I was actually doing something, and one of the nurses there asked me who delivered my first baby, or I don't know why she asked me that. And I ended up telling her that he looks just like Jesus. And I'm like, he has a beard, and I was like describing his hair. He had like long, wavy, like really cute hair. And I'm like, he looks like Jesus. She's like, oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about. And she says his name, and I'm like, oh my God, that is him. So it's funny, so we bust out laughing about that. But yeah, because physically he looks like Jesus, which is pretty cool. And the fact that he prayed for my daughter. And then the last reason, of course, is because my daughter was born, which is another video in itself that I'm going to do for you guys. But my daughter was born with Cri-du-Chat syndrome. We didn't know until about two or 3 days after she was born, because she wouldn't swallow her food, and when she cried, she had a very faint little cat cry. But yeah, she's born with Cri-du-Chat syndrome. So yeah, I'm going to do a separate video explaining to you guys about her diagnosis and everything. So yeah, but yeah, that's how my labor and delivery story went. And oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to tell you guys. So the last little piece of the story is my mother-in-law called my ex, because I told you guys my ex did not come. He ended up, I remember when I called him, told him my stomach was really hurting. He told me to just maybe just walk it off or whatever. And of course, me being like his best friend and thinking I was so in love with him and everything, I listened to him, of course. He tells me to maybe just walk it off and just lay down and take a nap. So I walked it off, lay down and took a nap, and it was killing me. So I blew his phone up. He wouldn't answer the phone. And then at the same time, I later found out that he was actually at the basketball court while I was having the baby. Really? And we're like 3 years in by now. Like, you couldn't come see your baby. So anyway, so right after I had my daughter, it was like I had my daughter at 9:37 p.m. Whoop whoop, Jada. But I had her at 9:37 p.m. and right after, like 10:15 or like 10 o'clock, because we spent our time with the baby. My mother-in-law spent her time with the baby. So at the time, she called him at like 10 to 15. And she's like, he answered. And he's like, or she told him, congratulations, you're a damn dad now. Why didn't you get your ass up to the hospital when she told you she was having a baby? So she's going off on him. He finally gets up there because his best friend's mom dropped him off. And they come up to the room. And she's like, well, yeah, now that you're a dad, your first duty as a father is to clean up my damn car. Because I had like SpaghettiOs everywhere, like, right? Okay. So she made him go down there in the dark, because it's nighttime, so it's dark outside. She made him scrub and clean her damn car. She was not playing no games. And then right after, she brought him right back to the hospital, and he stayed that time with me in the hospital. So yeah, that's my little story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe and comment down below if you guys had similar experiences with me. So yeah, I wanted him to be there obviously because he's a dad, and I just didn't want to do it by myself. But I had my sister there, and she cut the umbilical cord, and that's why I think that my oldest daughter and my younger sister has that like tight, close-knit bond, because that was like their first bonding moment, is my sister cutting the umbilical cord. And I just remember my sister was like, what's that? What is this called? What's that called? I'm like, Deidre, really? What? You ask all these questions? So then I remember my like the little after thing, the placenta came out, and my sister was like, oh my god, what the hell is that? so yeah, it was pretty funny. So I'm very glad that my sister was there to experience this with me, and also my mother-in-law. I'm so excited. But yeah, my mom finally got there, and my stepdad too, and everybody was just like in awe and couldn't believe I had my daughter that fast. And yeah, so that was my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.